All right, everyone. Hello. So, I wanted to get into this video talking about what I'm making and kind of a little bit of a CAD drawing of it before I get into just the fiberglass pieces. So, I'm making a swim platform in this video for my sailboat. So, we already have a swim platform on the Catalina 380, but it's a sugar scoop, and I wanted a much larger platform, really, because we do a lot of things off the back of the boat, including setting up, kind of e-foils and paddle boards, and it's the main mode of entry to our boat is because we're on a mooring ball. People come often on the boat on the back, and if you're low mobility, that can really be tough with a small platform. So I want a big space that you could grab and get onto the boat easy. So something like this that you see on a lot of modern sailboats, right? A platform that folds down, the transom that folds down, etc. So I just wanted to take one and put it on my sailboat, and this is kind of what I came up with in CAD. So this is Inventor, and the platform is going to look something like this. I have flat sections here on the bottom and on the sides, and this is where through bolts for the hinges and for the supports are going to go. I didn't want to try to do anything internal or anything solid and tap into it. I just wanted to have a nice flat surface to be able to clamp backing plates to if necessary. And then I'll show you kind of how I built it here. We'll see if I can get through all these solids, but I got my layers here peeled away, and you can kind of see what the internal structure is going to look like. I wanted to put a swim platform internal, so I've got a pocket hole here for a swim platform that I'm going to have to encase in a box. In this drawing, green is fiberglass. The divvy cell core is this cream color, and then I'm going to put internal aluminum plates. So on the sides and anywhere there needs to be some serious anchoring, I'm going to put, I should say bolt anchoring. Anywhere there's going to be some serious bolt anchoring, I'm going to put an aluminum plate covered in glass so that I don't actually have to through bolt if I go through here. I could just use washers. It'll be strong, and then I could cover it up. So that's just kind of my thought process here. I also on the back are going to have grab rails, grab handles here because I have to get on and off the dinghy while this will be up in its up position numerous times. So that's what these are for. So, okay, now on to the fiberglass portion. All right, another project in my garage, which is a mess as always. I just finished building a deck, so been busy this winter. But this is going to be the swim platform, and I'll show you some CAD on it. But this is kind of the mold I got going on here. I'll show you in the CAD, but this bottom is curved, so these black pieces of plastic are 3D printed inserts to basically flatten off pieces for mounting. I really don't like mounting things through curved surfaces. It just is since these are all gonna be through bolted, it would look wonky. So that's what the 3D printed pieces are for. These 3D printed pieces right here are actually for grab rails because I realized, and I'll show you more when I get the design up, but I realized that I am going to need to climb over this thing a bit. And look, these fit real nice, which is great. But I'm going to need to climb over this thing, so flat mounting for that as well. And then I've got my foam here. This is about $1,000 in foam. Ugh, maybe not that much, maybe like $600 in foam. But that'll be the core. So my task today is to get this mold more prepped than it is now. So I need to glue down all the 3D printed pieces, including the corners, and then I need to cut out the foam, cut out the foam pieces on the table saw to kind of get me a contour here, and then I'm gonna clean up all the dust and spray it with primer and then gel coat it, and then once it's gel coated I can actually start work. And I've got I went with a cheaper resin this time, Fiberglass Supply Depot. I used them in a pinch on the Dodger. I needed some resin really quick, and I was able to get like 3 to 4 gallons of their resin really quick, and it's been just fine. So I figured I'd give it a shot for this whole project as well. I got my resin, and then I got my fiberglass ready to go as well. All right. All right, y'all. So I had gotten it primed, the mold that is, primed and ready to go for gel coat. And I actually, pretty cool, I got one of these gel coat guns. One of these guys. Oh god, you don't know what this is, but whatever. It's for spraying gel coat. And the point is that the nozzle, look at the size of these freaking nozzles that it comes with, right? The nozzle is huge. This is even a small one. This is a 5. The nozzle is just huge. So that was really good for spraying the thick gel coat. But anyways, I messed up. I misread the calculation and put in too little of the hardener on the first coat. And that caused some big tacky problems. I've kind of remedied it by turning up the heat, so my space heater is blasting. That's great for the electric bill. But it has helped reduce the tackiness and helped it cure. I also have started to use wax and go over some of the areas, seeing if the tackiness could be gone over, because you know, at the end of the day, if some of the areas are tacky, this isn't like the finished gel coat going on a boat. I'm going to destroy and burn this mold afterwards. So it doesn't really matter. It just needs one plug. So I'm using my hard all paste, and I'm going to keep waxing this mold. I am also going to experiment. I have a really rough, crappy edge here, and I'm going to pounded some wax in there. I'm gonna see if I just laminate over it, if it's fine. I bet it is. I bet it pulls out. Anyways, keep going. Alright, so I got it waxed, and the whole thing waxed, the first layer. This wax does great with filling these gaps, I'll tell you that. So it waxed over the uncured gel coat just fine. Hopefully it'll pull out just fine. Now I'm going to put in the fillets. So check these out. I used these in my last video too for the Bimini, but these are 1-inch fillets, you can see here, from a company called Freeman Manufacturing. You put in a custom order, they make you them. These basically, oh geez, go in the side right here, and you apply a little heat and put them in the side, and it makes a perfect fillet for you. And when you pop it out of the mold, they just come right off, and it looks beautiful. So I'm going to put them on all the whole way around right now. All right, so I got the mold almost ready to go here. I got it really waxed up, as you can see in some areas, and I've got the wax fillets all the way around. Man, these things turned out great. Look, I can easily mold these corners, no problem. That's great. So easy peasy. So the gel coat's still tacky in some areas, right there. So fingers crossed this will all work. Now I'm gonna spray some PVA over everything, probably a few coats, try to make it thick. And then I'm gonna lay my first layer of glass. Boom. All right, PVA down and dried with the assistance of heat lamps. And now I'm gonna roll on some resin. Fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. All right, first part of the core is on. I would have done the other half last night too, but I ran out of heavy things to put on it. So if you remember that Pirates of the Caribbean thing, it's 9 pieces of whatever we had in our pocket at the time. Similar to this. And I got the metal, the aluminum bar in there too for the first one. Now to do the other side. All right, welcome back to the sloppiest shop you know. I got Yachting World on, watching boats I can't afford ever. And I got the fiberglass layer for the bottom side pretty much all done. So This is on the underside a layer of chop strand matte, and then 2 layers of 1708, and then on the top there's a layer of 1708 and then a layer of chop strand matte. And then I'm going to beef up these. You can see the aluminum under here, so I'm going to beef these up a bit with some more layers of glass and probably some core, and tab all that into the middle structure here. And then these guys are raised up because this is where the tapped holes are going to go for the swim ladder, or sorry, the boarding ladder, I guess you'd call it. And then I have another piece of core here to act kind of as a rib, and then be a bit of a platform for it's quite sturdy, be a platform for the other part, which I have to build today. There we go, which will be that guy there. So I need to build a box, which will then raise this up a little bit, which is good because it's pretty low. I might need even 2 layers on the bottom to get that up there, like an inch. Anyways, I'm also going to today, hopefully, a lot of work needs to be done today. I've got a piece cut out, which is roughly the same as this piece. Probably needs to be trimmed a little bit, but I can't really test fit yet. Anyways, this is the top. So what I've got is I've got pieces of core that I've already cut out over here, and I'm going to put some plastic down on this, and then I'm going to laminate fiberglass over the core, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to laminate fiberglass on that side as well, and then I'm going to lay the whole thing in here. I'm going to have some supports for it, some ribs for it made out of core, and then I'm going to lay the whole thing in here, glass it in, and then I'm going to drill a few holes here and on the top layer and fill it with foam, 2-part foam. So that's the continued idea here as we move forward, and I guess we'll see if it all works. Trying to think if there are any other updates. I think that's it. Otherwise, the glass is going pretty well. It's a very complex mold with corners and such, and I hope it A, pulls out well. And then there's a few air pockets. I may drill and fill them, but I may not. It's not crazy bad, but man, going around some of these spots was tough. It was real tough to get that to lay real flat without bagging. Oh, I should mention the reason why I'm doing this top piece this way is because I'm not bagging anything. I just don't. My shop's a disaster. I don't have really the time, patience, or experience with bagging to do 2 big bags or a large bag even for this. So, you know, I had all the pieces here weighing down the core, right? I mean, I bedded that as best I could, but there might be some DLAM on it. You know, it's tough to, without bagging, it's tough to lay core on fiberglass and really get it to stick. There are some bedding compounds you can use, which are incredibly expensive, but you trowel them on and then it does a good job of kind of removing the air. You can use objects to weigh down like what I did, but there probably will be a few pieces of air underneath it. If you do it like this though, and do the glass on top, right? So if I do only glass on top and not foam on top of glass, then I shouldn't have that problem. The gravity should do a good enough job making sure there's no air pockets, and the adhesion will be way better. So that's why I'm doing it this way instead of like laying the foam out on top of a sheet of glass or something like that. So thought I'd explain. All right, bye. All right, so I ended up not trusting gravity fully. I put down a plastic sheet, and then I put some flat boards over top of it just to give it that little extra weight down. And then I had to add a little bit of a beefed up layer to the middle section here so that I can raise up the ladder a bit in the mold. So today these are the pieces to encase the ladder. So today I'm going to flip all these over. Alright, back in action. GoPro died when I was filming, so I don't think I got it, but I actually had a little bit of issues with the top, so I got it flipped over now. But for some reason, some of the resin didn't like fully cure properly. It felt like it maybe absorbed too much. Maybe the temperature was too low. I'm not actually sure, but it didn't go perfect. So anyways, I did put more resin on, and now it seems to have cured fine, so I flipped it over. I also have the box built, so I got that put together using not quite fully fucking drying, but I got it put together using some polyester filler. So I'll once it sets up here, I'll sand it all down, get it nice and flat, glass it up, and this is the ladder. The ladder goes right in there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to test fit this again, just make sure it goes in there, and then I'm going to glass this whole thing. And looks like I messed up. I put my last little bit of filler on there, and it's got some high edges. Oh well, sand it off. All right, so back in the slop. It's pretty sloppy today. I got my top piece laminated, looking pretty good. A few air bubbles, but not too bad. So today, my goal is to trim it. And it's probably gonna be tough to measure, but I'm probably gonna need about half an inch off. And then I'm gonna need around the corners, because then I'm gonna fit it into here. I still need to do a whole lot of buildup on these. Is just a layer or two of glass, so I need to do probably a piece of foam core, a bunch more glass, get it real beefy, because this is going to hold a lot of it, the weight. And then I also built, this is the box for the ladder to go into, and I put aluminum on the sides. I'm going to glass all this in, and then my goal is to tap holes into these, and then I can just screw the ladder directly in there. Don't have to worry about any through bolts, because I'm not going to have any access to the bottom of this. So goal for today is to get this fitted into place and get the top cut and get working on building up the sides. Also, I don't know if you guys heard this guy, the Sail North guy. Pretty good stuff, man. Pretty good stuff. Check it out. Okay, so I've got more going on here. I've got some stringers put in, and I've got the buildup of that's nice and solid, a little tacky still. I got a buildup here of the sides. I'm gonna put 9 layers of glass to build up to this white mark, which should be about the height of the whole thing. I test fitted my platform. It's good to go, or the top piece, it's good to go. I'm probably gonna add, a couple vertical, like at least one piece of foam here the whole way across to kind of give a little bit more rigidity that lateral kind of way. But otherwise looking pretty good. So I've got my glass, a lot of glass cut and laid out, so I'm going to work. I gotta trim these edges off, but I'm gonna work on getting this all glassed up with a whole bunch of glass. Okay. All right. I hope you can hear me, because I have my mask on, because it's disastrous in here right now. I laminated, and this is all dry. All right, so I laminated a bit of chop strand mat into the edges, or I guess the walls, just to kind of beef them up a bit. They were pretty thin, and a little extra on these supports here. The whole thing is, let's see,
I don't know if I even want to stand on that. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. Oh, that was my other foot. But let's see. Let's do this again if my balance is good. Ready? Oh, yeah. Very strong. Ooh. Yeah. I feel like I'm going to break it. But I think if anything, I'm going to break the mold underneath it. All right, so feels real good. It's already separated from the mold in a lot of areas, which, I don't know, fine. This is a bunch of layers of glass, very sturdy. All right. Now we're gonna put that piece on. And then I gotta get this garage cleaned up. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, so hopefully you can hear me through the mask because I got resin in here, so I got the mask on. Anyways, the test fit went pretty well. However, I got some serious voids in this underside, which I've had to go and fill. There's some bad spots everywhere, but there's real bad spots here and here. So I got those taken care of with my little syringe here. The other areas are okay, but on this bottom side, I will say, this is where I did the plastic. And it did not go as well as I thought. The foam soaked way too much resin up on this side, so I hope it'll be all right. It's fairly strong. I mean, when I stand on it, it's good to go here, but there was a few spots that were really needed to be filled. So I filled them. This is another one right there. Boom. Anyways, should be still fine. The other side is good to go though, which is the top. Also, I could not help myself, so I started to pull off the mold, and it looks like it's going to come out of here just fine. Look at that. Nice and strong. My 3D printed corners, these are the wax fillets. I'm thinking this is going to be great. I can't wait. Yo! Alright, another mask video, but I got the top piece going to get glued on now. So I used a bunch of this structural putty, basically the whole gallon, to really coat this underside and really get it glued in there nice and good. Got a bunch of things weighing it down. It's real strong, no problem. I'm actually afraid of breaking the mold. But good to go. I could two-step, a two-step, like a two-step, two-step. I'm a dancing man. I'm a dancing man. Oh, all right. Now, it's hard to do in the mask. Okay, next thing I need to do is drill a couple holes so I can fill this with foam, because I'm going to fill these voids with foam. And yeah, I need to then drill some holes and then glass all this in, join it together real well. I took this part of the mold off as well. You can see the box, rock solid. And the corner, this was a 3D printed corner, came out real smooth, beautiful. And you can see the wax. All right, next time.
All right, baby, the top is glued on. The top is glued on. So, I took all the stuff off. It's on just very good. Very solid. I mean, it's not very solid. It needs to be beefed up quite a bit, but it's pretty solid. I feel no problem walking on this bad boy, especially over here. Right here, though, I don't know, this is a little bit of a problem area, but for the most part, right here. I don't know, I gotta look into what's going on there. But I got more glass to put on. Actually, you know what I think it is? I think it's the support, because that's right where that support runs. Yeah, I bet that's the support. So we'll beef it up with some chop strand, because this needs to be pretty impact resistant, right? So my next path here is to, did you hear my knees crack? Next path here is to get some chop strand laid down in here, and then fill this void with a bunch of fiberglass all around the sides, and then probably, honestly, 2, maybe 3 layers of chop strand on top. I mean, it's gonna have C-deck on it, but still it's gonna need the help for impact resistance. These sides are solid though, look at that. All right, until next time. Oh man. So I decided that I couldn't wait any longer. So I propped this bad boy up on its edge. I cracked it open. Look at this. Beautiful. Came off no problem. Wow. This one's kind of stuck on. I'm back with a little bang from my hammer here. Boom. That worked out really, really well. Let's check a test fit. Oh, God. I almost just slipped on that thing. Probably shouldn't want to stand on that. Oh, look at that. Fits right in there. Perfect. Might need to fill a few voids. Man, those edges are rock solid though. Something messed up here too. I don't know. The fabric's dry. There's a void. All right, so next steps. Look at all this slop. This has all got to go. Cleanup starts now. All right, so I got it on the scale, and moment of truth here, it's on the scale. I predicted this would weigh in at 250 pounds when it's done, and 206 pounds, missing a few layers of fiberglass and the ladder. So I bet we'll be at just around 250 pounds. So, good to know. Man, that came out really good. I'm really impressed. All these radiuses are great. This is all the PVA plastic, the mold release. This comes off with water or peels off like this. Let's look, actually, since I'm here doing this, let's get a screwdriver and let's peel away some of the wax fillets. I just can't tell you how much this worked so well, though. 3D printed part, covered in gel coat, perfectly smooth, perfectly smooth. Anyways. Oh, this is why those wax fillets are so awesome. Just a smooth, easy radius. Boom, baby, the whole way. I mean, I custom mushed these into the corners. That is a great radius. Let's see right here. Boom. Beautiful. You see the stainless steel plate or the aluminum plate right there. Love it. All right, next rule of business here is to get all this cleaned up and this garage cleaned up. So I'm gonna lay some cardboard board down. I don't dent this too bad, but I don't think anything's gonna hurt it. Yeah, I'm gonna get to work. Hit you up.
All right. So I hope you can hear me, but we're on to the part of this I really hate now, which is trimming and sanding. Hold on, this is shaky. I'm sorry. Okay, so I trimmed off the whole outside. Boom, look at that. Solid. Freaking solid, man. All right, so next steps.
All right, so I trimmed off the edge and I've got holes drilled in the middle cavities here. So I'm going to fill these middle cavities with some 2-part expanding foam. That will help for a couple things. It'll give a bit more rigidity if there's a bunch of people on it, and then also stop water intrusion, things like that, fill the void. So I think I've never used it before, but you basically mix, you pour part A into part B, and then it starts to foam up really quick. You got to pour it in, so we're gonna see how it goes.
And just like that, the spray foam is in. So I just poured these ones. You can see it's starting to come up. This one's a fresh one, just got it in there. And this is what it looks like. It's all done up.
Oh, running out of time. It's almost spring. Anyway, so I got the holes filled here for the most part, and I got some aluminum plates I'm gonna put on, or I got put on here. I'm gonna tap into for some cleats and some boarding handles and other things. And then my wife is super hot, so I've got some of her old photos here that I'm gonna glass into this thing just to permanently put them in there. Hopefully her second husband will sand it down someday and be like, what? I don't know, that's a weird, doesn't even make sense. But anyways, all right, time to take the peel ply off. So great. Anyways, I didn't do a very good job with the peel ply, mostly because I didn't really care that much, because there's going to be anti-skid on this anyways. So peel it off. Let's see. Comes off no problem. Made a very nice surface. Alright, so I'm going to peel all this off, and my goal is to get it prepped both sides for paint by the end of this week. Paint, I've learned, takes a long time to dry. Alright, man, that peel ply turned out awesome. So that would have saved me a lot of sanding probably if I used it before. I'll tell you what, I'm dumb. Anyways, I've got these guys here, which are some fishing rod holders. By the way, these could be really expensive. You can get them on West Marine for $80 a piece. These are from Amazon, and they were about $14 a piece. We'll see how they do making it. But I wasn't gonna pay 160 bucks for two on an experimental thing. So I have these plates here, and I'm gonna I have to chop these probably off, like right here. But I'm gonna put these in this plate, and you'll put a metal handle in here, and you can then use it as a boarding handle. So the ladder doesn't really have any way to get up onto the platform unless you have these handles. And when we have the dinghy up next to the boat, since we're on a mooring ball, that's primarily how we get on the boat, is via dinghy on the back. And people, especially if your mobility is slightly low, have big problems with that. So the boarding handle will be very helpful. So that's the idea. I've got a hole saw, and I'm going to drill 2-inch holes in these guys. I might not have been recording, so I'm going to try this again. Okay, so bit of an update today. I have the holes cut in the aluminum here for the boarding ladder handles. So this boarding ladder here, or the swim ladder, sorry, I should say, doesn't have handles that come with it. So I thought it'd be a little hard to get up on the platform. So I cut these holes to put a fishing rod holder in to mount handles to. It also really worked because most of our boarding is done from a dinghy, so using these handles for people with low mobility get on board would be great. I originally was going to have these kind of go only into here and stop, but I just figured water ingress would for sure happen no matter what I did, and it would be best to drill them the whole way through. So I drilled them the whole way through so that this guy can fit right in there like that, and it can drain out the back no problem. This does sit a little, it's not flush or anything like that. I don't want to cut it flush because of the catch piece here. So I'll probably 3D print some kind of little flange thing to go on there and make it look a little more flush. But now I'm on to the stages that I continue to really hate, which is sanding and making everything smooth. So I need to keep sanding and get some total fair in there and get it nice and smooth for paint. Paint arrives on Friday, so ideally I'm painting next weekend, which I have a lot of work to do between now and then. Okay. All right, it's finally paint time. So I got the bright lights. I mopped up the floor. And I'm ready to put down some paint. So I've got some of the gunmetal gray here, the same stuff I used before. It's pretty decent paint for a decent price. I mean, it's still expensive, but not bad. And then I've got the gun I'm going to use here. It's actually new to me. This is a low volume gun. So low volume, low pressure, not high volume, high pressure. So we're going to try it out because I'm using only a 17 gallon air compressor. It's only 5 CFM at 90 PSI. So we're going to try out a low pressure gun and see, or sorry, a low volume gun and see if it works. So I think we're ready to go. It's pretty smooth, and I'm looking forward to it. So I was actually not ready for paint, turns out. So I thought I could get away with the darker color and hiding some stuff, but of course not. So I ended up, I'm ready for paint now. I got to hit this with 400 grit, but it's much better. I had, I don't know if you can see, but you know, it's very flat. This is dust on it. Ugh. But very flat. It was not flat enough before. So what I ended up doing, it's actually a little bit tough with fairing compound to really just get everything sanded smooth. So what I ended up doing, they do this in auto body work. It's like icing or a glaze coat. So what I did was I had mixed up some epoxy, just some total boat epoxy with some Cabasil, tiny little bit of thickener, you know, Cabasil, just so it looks like icing on a cake. And then I kind of did a layer of ice, the whole thing, so an epoxy coat, the whole thing, and then sanded it down with my hand tool and got it really flat. So it is definitely flat enough for paint now. It was not before. So I'm going to hit this with the 400 grit, which I started doing here. That's why it's dusty, and sanded here. And then I'm going to spray the thing down. All right, so this is post paint. Looks pretty good. You can see the gold flake pretty good in there. There are a few blemishes, of course, because I DIY sprayer. I'm not super great at spraying, but I'm getting there. Over here, this is the side I sanded less on. You can see there's more blemishes there. But anyways, the whole thing turned out real good. So it's been sitting drying in the garage here for going on 3 days now. I'm just about ready to, I hope, let's see. It still is pretty soft. It's the only concern I have is I could probably fingernail this a little bit. Anyways, I'm talking a lot here. What I have to do is I'm gonna have to flip it over and finish the other side. And that means I'm gonna have to have pressure on this side. I'm not sure how to do that without imprinting on the clear coat. So I might just have to wait longer, let it cook longer. Okay, so, all right, so we're ready to move this thing. It's painted good enough. And now I need to trace the template for the sea deck that's going on top. So put this plastic down, mark this with top, and then we will cut it out, and we're gonna load this thing into this U-Haul and get it to the boat tomorrow. All right, so it's out of the garage, and now I've got the sea deck here. I've already cut it, but I basically laid down a simple template and used a razor blade and cut it, and it cut really well. I think it looks like, yeah, it cut real well. It needs to maybe be trimmed up a little bit in a, well, that's pretty straight. It needs a little maybe trim on this edge here. I might run it through my table saw is what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. So we'll see. But overall, if this was it wasn't very hard to cut, but this was a very simple shape. I had to do a bunch more complex shapes. It would have been maybe a bit harder. And yeah, so there it is. That'll look nice. Feels nice. It's not actually sea deck, I should say. It's HydroTurf, but you know, similar type stuff, but different company. I don't know. I got this weird extra here. I'm not really sure what I'll do with it, but maybe something. All right. All right, we're at the boatyard, and I've got the rig ready to hoist this bad boy up. Fingers crossed. I got the lift points here, and then the big hinges here, all bolted on. People think we're crazy. Got this nice contraption here to lift it up. I thought the tower would be a little shakier, but it's actually doing great. And there it is hanging. Crank it up and bolt it on and see how it goes. Okay, so here it is installed. I am just gonna do a quick short video because I want to get out of here, but it's installed. Stand on it, no problem. I've got the struts going. I've got a I drilled a lot of holes. It's pretty cool. I've got a purchase system going that goes up my tower. Pull it up pretty easy, and it sails just fine with it up, nice and strong. I did actually mess up. These are not perfect, so I need to move this guy over a couple inches, but I'll do that at some other time. But this is fantastic. Gives me a ton more room. I can now like grab the bikes without having to. It's real good. It's real good. And I'm getting ready to put the dinghy away, so when I do, I'll show you how it is up. Alright, so
I'm in the dinghy, and let's see, I'll show you a little panoramic of it. Okay, so to put this thing up, because I've got this purchase here going through this pulley and this pulley and this pulley and then this pulley, it makes it hard. If I were to pull from there directly, it's not so hard to pull up, but because it's going through all these other points, I have to use a winch to just give it a little boost. If anybody's a pulley guy, I've tried to route these all different ways. I think I probably just need a bigger pulley there, would be my guess. 2 big pulleys versus the small ones. I don't know. I'll show you how it works though. So I got it on the winch, ready to go. I'm gonna start cranking. Once it gets to about here, I go pull the rest up just so I can control it. See how easy it is from here, right? I mean, and then it just sits. I haven't figured this out yet. These get in the way. They need to be like attached with bungees or something. I'll figure that out later. Anyways, now I'll lift the dinghy up. Okay, and now the dinghy's up. So the dinghy sits pretty flush with it. Doesn't actually contact, but just the step. And I don't have her fully tightened in yet. What I used to do is I'd run a line from, well, I still can do that, I guess. I'd run a line from this strap to this corner and to that corner to give us extra strength. And it goes over the top now. I thought that'd get in the way, but it shouldn't. So anyways. Oh, also, I painted this black. Much better. Matches everything. Oh, and then I 3D printed this to put a giant screen in that's hooked up to a PC running OpenCPN. That's the next project.